Welcome to day 4 of Navratri, and this is all about the goddess Maa Kushmanda. Now, she's known as the smiling goddess. So the story and the legend goes that she was the one who created the universe at a time when there was nothing but darkness. And the silent smile that she had is what illuminated everything and created the world. So you can read about her through Google if you'd like. However, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the astrology and everything to do with this day. So I'm very excited about this because, again, as you know, this is the 9 incarnations of Maa Durga, and she's also known as a couple of other names. I'm not really quite sure as to yet why there are so many names. However, I'm doing some research to make sure that I can explain that to you properly. I do know that this is all about the rising of the feminine energy, and if you tap into the energies during this time, it can assist you in connecting with higher consciousness and helping you heal yourself. And also, when I talk about the astrology, when we look at your charts, so everybody again has placements of planets throughout their chart, and some have more positive traits and some have more negative, and that's all depending upon the exact precise time and moment that you were born, and it's mathematical. It has everything to do with quantum physics and mathematics. So it's much more complex than tropic astrology, which is Western. And as I've mentioned in my first video, if you've missed that, go back and look at that because I've done 3 other videos for this celebration so far. However, when you look at what this is all about, it's the rising of the feminine, and we want to balance in the energy, right? We talk about balancing our energies within us, the masculine and the feminine. The ego, okay, is the negative aspect of those. And so we want to balance. We don't want too much feminine energy, and we don't want too much masculine energy. So right now, this is all about balancing and uprising of the feminine energy. And so Maa Kushmanda is, again, the creator of the universe. They call her the silent goddess, and she represents health and wealth and strength. And her hand is always in the Abhay Mudra, which is the same as Jesus, which is pretty amazing. I know that might rattle a few Christians. However, one of the things that I've been saying for years, if you listen to Christianity, which I won't go too much into, but they say from the age of 12 to 32, they have no idea where he went. Well, let's be real. If you do your research and you study, he went to India. He came to India, and he studied with the wise men who came to see him on his birth because he was the anointed one, right? So he came here and he learned all of these things. That's why you see him doing certain mudras. Mudras are hand symbols, okay? So we're going to step off of that now and go back to the planet that's associated with Maa Kushmanda is the planet Jupiter, or Sura. And it's considered as the guru or the teacher planet of the Devta planets. It is a good planet for blessings of good fortune and wealth, power and position, optimism and generosity. And if the placement in your chart with Jupiter has more negative aspects, it's not good or bad or indifferent. It's just an imbalance. And your job in this lifetime is to balance those energies, okay? So like I had mentioned in my very first video, when the Vedic pendant, Shavim's father, looked at my palm, he literally, so palmistry is also the same as astrology. It's the map of the stars on your hand. And your right hand is the right hand is what you're capable of, and the left hand is what you're doing with it. This one always changes, this one stays the same. So he looked at my hand and he noticed that my mounts of Saturn were weak because they're flat. So then there are qualities within myself that I had to work on, which was, for the mounts of Saturn being weak in my chart meant weak mind. So I had to work on strengthening my mind. So if you have attributes in your chart of weak Jupiter, the negative can create overspending, laziness, disobedience, overconfidence, arrogance, luxury loving, and it can also cause spiritual bankruptcy and health issues. So the health issues that are related to Jupiter are things like diabetes, obesity, inflammation, stomach issues, liver and hip and foot issues, and dryness of skin. It's very interesting. So now when you look at that, you can also correlate this with your chakra and your nutrition. So it also says that Jupiter is also indicates your philosophical and spiritual worldviews, perception of wealth, and experiences of travel and long journey. So if you have weakness in Jupiter, there's some things that you can do to help yourself. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to let you know that the mantra for that, or for Maa Kushmanda, is Om Devi Kushmanda Namah. Just like I've been showing you guys, you would say Om Maa Kushmanda Namah, or you could say Om Maa Devi Kushmanda Namah. So that's a good one to practice. And again, while you're doing this 108 times, you can literally feel the vibrations in your body start to shift. You can feel the tingle happening, as well as if you wanted to, you could do this in a non-audible chant in your mind, which would be transcendental meditation. So I did that this morning while everyone was sleeping because I couldn't do any chants right to wake everyone up. However, I did them in my mind as well as my pranayama breath work. We'll go into that later. I'm sure you've heard of pranayama. It's the simple breath work where you literally breathe in one nostril and then you switch and breathe out the other nostril. Breathe in, exhale, and so on, back and forth. You want to do that for probably 3 to 10 minutes, depending. That's for another day. So then some of the things that you could do for your health reasons, because it causes a great deal of disturbance in your system if you have poor or weak Jupiter in your chart. You'd want to stay away from things, obviously, because it causes inflammation. Let's look at that first and foremost. And again, this is all scientifically based, and you could do all your research you want and see what I'm going to tell you about inflammation. We all know inflammation is the biggest problem with people's health today, right? And people are on medication for that. Well, here's what you do. You simply stay away from processed foods. Yes, processed foods. So you would definitely want to stay away from wheat. Wheat is really huge, especially refined processed wheat causes a great deal of inflammation. So to strengthen that in your chart, you could do things like reducing the foods that cause the inflammation, things like bread, pasta, pastries, soft drinks, candy, anything processed, processed meats, bacon, hot dogs, cured meats. Yeah, salamis, things like that. All those things that are super tasty. They actually make them in a vegetarian form. And no, if you go straight from like regular bacon to a vegan bacon, it's not going to taste the same. However, when you meditate and when you work on healing yourself on a soul and higher consciousness level, those things won't taste good to you anymore. And as you can tell, it definitely, when you eat healthier, it changes your complexion, it changes everything about you. I've heard many of you say that I look like I'm radiant right now. Well, that's because I've worked very diligently on my healing and the way that I eat, and my spiritual connection right now is just awesome. So those things will help you increase the strength of Jupiter in your chart. chips and crackers and fried food, unfortunately, are also not healthy for you when you have weak Jupiter in your chart, okay? Now, in order for you to find out whether or not you have weak Jupiter in your chart, you most likely would need someone to help you with Vedic astrology chart and guidance. And you can get that information through myself and through Vedic Pandant Shivam, excuse me. And that is through the Pashupatinath temple here in Satna. And then other things that you could do that help with weak Jupiter, things that associate with karma, believe it or not. So things like doing selfless acts for the poor or impoverished, and things like wearing yellow and gold and doing your prayers. Of course, you would do prayers for Maa Kushmanda. And then your mantra 108 times. The color that is associated with her is yellow, but I've also seen red and orange. Now, it's very interesting because the chakra that's associated with her is the heart chakra. The mother, obviously, because she's the mother of the earth, the universe. She created the stars, she created everything. So that is the choice that I've chosen today, is gold. It's as close to gold as I have. I don't have any yellow, and I've already worn red, and I don't have orange. But so this is in between yellow and orange. So that's my color for the day, but hers is associated with yellow most often. And then the appropriate food offerings for her would be milk, rice, papaya, banana, and coconut water, and white pumpkin, because her name actually means white pumpkin. Again, the chakra that's associated with her is the heart chakra. It's the Anahate in Hindi. And that in Sanskrit actually means unhurt, unstuck, and unbeaten. That's very amazing. She also rides a white tiger and has 8 arms. And she's beautiful. And again, she's known as the goddess with the silent smile. So she's so beautiful. And her smile is so amazing that it just illuminates everything that was dark and brings lightness to it. Isn't that beautiful? It just fills your heart with love knowing that. And then the appropriate recipe for today, if you wanted to cook something for yourself on this day, you would make malpua, Malpua. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But basically, you can Google the recipe, and what that actually is, I'll be honest with you, it's basically a sugar pancake with sugar syrup and garnished with pistachios. Yeah. Again, they have a lot of sweets here, and this is very new for me, and I'm not really used to all these sweets. However, if you like sweets and you're into celebrating Navratri, that is an excellent recipe, and it's super, super easy. And these recipes that I've shared with you in the links down below, they actually are all very, very, very basic recipes that even like an 8 or a 10-year-old could make. And if you were here in India, they're probably making them at the age of, I don't know, 5. American children don't typically have as many life skills as other children around the world, as we've seen through many videos in the Chinese culture and others. So I hope that helped you guys learning a little bit about day 4 of Navratri and all about Maa Kushmanda. So I'm sending you much love and light from Satna, India, and as it is above is below, as it is within is without. Namaste, guys. Until tomorrow.